All right, g'day everyone. Welcome back to the Snake Cages podcast. I'm Brett, and I'm here, of course, with Dan, as always. And we are back with another guest episode today. We are very lucky to be joined by Darren Boswell.
Hey guys.
We're going to dive into a range of different topics, from herping, keeping, snake catching, a bit of everything. So yeah, Darren, thanks for coming on.
No worries.
Yeah,
Nice to be here.
Yeah, we might as well get straight into it. So for those who might not know who you are, if you just want to give a bit of a rundown of who you are and what you do.
Really just a keeper. I've kept reptiles for longer than I care to think now. A fairly long time, but always, even as a kid, just had a general interest in nature, I guess, which is sort of where it came from. Originally from the UK, came out here as a kid.
Yeah.
And just went from there.
Yeah, nice. So how old were you when you came out to Australia?
I was 7 years old.
7 years old.
Yeah.
Fairly young.
1972.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You that old? Jeez.
Yeah, I'm 60, mate.
You don't look it. Save that one. I suppose it's quite a transition coming from UK into Australia. Was it made easier being that young and coming over?
Yeah, I think it was. Once we got over the initial shock of the heat and that sort of stuff. But everyone sort of said, "Oh, you go to Australia, there's too much dangerous stuff there. Everything wants to kill you in Australia," and so that's we believed that. We had no other perspective.
It is the sort of just the generally thought thing about Australia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Particularly for tourists wanting to come over. Oh, you got to watch out for this. You got to watch out for this.
Yeah.
Then they get here and it's like, it's not that bad, is it?
Yeah.
Haven't seen anything that I thought I was going to see. Thousands of, by everyone telling me that they're everywhere.
Yep.
Sort of thing.
That's the thing. You get people that come over here do it like looking for species, and they spend the whole trip and don't find it.
Yeah, literally.
But
yeah. So, did you come straight to South Australia?
Yeah, straight to South Australia. Yeah, straight to Adelaide. We lived in these flats down at Campbelltown. They belonged to the housing company that Mum and Dad were building their house with.
Oh, nice.
So we were there for probably 6 months, and I always had an interest in insects. At one stage, I think I might have been 6, I got a really thick book about insects, and they were like my obsession. And I got the old bug catcher. Do you remember? I got that for Christmas, and I think the first thing that went in there was a nice big female redback that I caught in the fuse box on the flats. I'll catch flies and put in there and watch it kill the flies and stuff like that. And then Mum and Dad found out what it was, and out came the can of Mortine. Much to my disgust. Yeah. So that's where it sort of started, I guess, is with insects, and then we moved into Mum and Dad built a house in Mobbery North.
Yep.
And it was just surrounded with vacant land. And again, as I said, we firmly believed that everything out there outside of our immediate surroundings was going to try and kill us. And I was playing out the back one day, and I saw this head come up out of the grass and open up and grab a flower, and I completely freaked. I was crying, banging on the back door for Mum to let me in, because I didn't want to go closer to it to get around to the front door. I was convinced it was a snake. And anyway, we had an Australian couple that lived over the back fence, and they heard all the commotion, and he stuck his head over, and Mum said, "Oh, there's a snake here. So he came around and he started looking around. And then next minute he reached down and he picks it up. He goes, "It's not a snake, it's a sleepy lizard." Oh my God. And he brought it over, and of course it had the mouth open, and he just brought it over. He's like, "You can touch it." I'm like, oh my God. And that was it. It was like
that was the moment.
It was like a lightning bolt went off. Okay. You know what I mean? And I think it was almost the very next weekend. Me and my mates were out in the paddocks, flipping tin. And, I was like, "I'm Steve Irwin." Well, it didn't exist then, but
it does go like that. A lot of younger people will just have a moment like that where it's like, okay, that's my thing now. Yeah. So obviously that was your moment, and I assume you've been hooked ever since on reptiles.
Fortunately, Mum and Dad were right in big with the library, and Tea Tree Gully Council had a great library, so we used to go there once a week, and I'd be straight down the aisle with all the reptile books. And I've got
Nice.
books like this, so that just sort of fed it,
Yeah. Obviously, back then it would have just been books, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
You couldn't just, go on the computer and look up something that
No, nothing on the computer. You would catch the odd David Attenborough documentary or something. But even in those days, even they weren't reptile focused.
Yeah. It was,
you might be lucky there might be a reptile in one little part of it or something, know. So no, it was all books.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. So you seem to have, got into it at quite an early age. Can you remember when you got your first reptile as a pet? Was it?
Well, that's an interesting story, and I guess I'll preface this with kids at home listening, don't do this.
Or is this leading into another story that you're gonna?
It's the same animal.
Okay.
So, obviously, I didn't used to keep. I would find blue tongues or sleepies around the place, and they'd live in our yard because our yard was pretty much sealed off.
Yeah.
So I'd bring them home. I'd keep them for a week or so, and then I'd usually just take them out and let them go.
It's just what you did when you were a kid.
Yeah, I didn't have the means to build cages and all that sort of stuff, and didn't really know what I was doing anyway. So I'd just observe them for a while, and we'd cut up fruit and feed them and stuff like that, and send them off with a full belly. But there was a really good spot up the very top of Grenfell Road that we used to go right up there on our bikes, and there was tawny dragons and all sorts of stuff up there because there was a few sort of rock escarpments. And was up there one day with my best mate and flipped a rock, and out comes this snake, only small. It was only about, I don't know, maybe 3 foot.
Yep.
And straight away he's like, leave it alone. And I just had to catch it, So I caught it, and it was a little brown snake, and probably hadn't long lost the dark off the top of the head and stuff. Yeah. And I had nothing to bring it home in, but we'd taken up sandwiches in a bread bag. So, again, I did say this is all wrong, right? I got it into the bread bag and just held that on the handlebars, and we rode home. And I had an old fish tank that you guys probably wouldn't have done it, but when we were kids and Dad was going to the dump, you went to the dump with him because you could just find all sorts of good shit, right?
I remember doing that.
And I found this fish tank at the dump, and so I made up like a wooden frame that fitted over the top with some mesh, fly screen mesh, and it was in the shed. And I put the snake in there. I put some substrate in there, and I put it in there. Didn't tell Mum or Dad. They didn't know it was in there. Anyway, I had this thing for a few days, and I was at school talking about it, and the kids going, "Oh, can you bring it to school?" I'm like, "Yeah, school?
Absolutely, I can."
And there was a kid who lived down around the corner from me, and he said, "Well, I want a snake." He goes, "Do you want to sell it?" Now, bear in mind, this is 1977, right? Yeah. So it's pre-licensing and all that stuff. And I said, "Well, how much are you going to pay for it?" And he goes, "Well, I'll give you $2.50. I'm like, $2.50 was a lot of money then, right? You could get your school lunches for a week. So, all right. So I said, "I'll bring it tomorrow." So brought it to school. I had it in a cloth bag this time. I think it was an old pillowcase. I had an old pillowcase.
Moving up.
Yeah, graduated from the plastic bag. And anyway, lunchtime came, and he said, "Oh, I want you to show me how to catch it and how to get it back in the bag." And I'm like, "Yep, no worries." So I've got it out on a school oval. So I've tipped it out, and it's just sitting there, and it's going for a bit of a crawl, and I'm dragging it back, and I'm going, "See, just be gentle with it, and it'll be fine." He's like, "Oh, yeah." I said, "Do you think you can do that?" He goes, "Oh, I don't know." So anyway, the horn went to go back to class, and everyone just sort of started moving off, and I grabbed this thing to put it in the bag, and I didn't hold it tight enough. I had it sort of head here, and it just pulled its head out from between my finger and thumb and just sank its teeth into my forefinger. And I was a bit shocked at first because it was actually, even from when I caught it, it didn't really try and defend itself.
Yeah,
it was fairly passive for an Eastern Brown, especially a young
one.
They're usually quite flicky, and
Yeah, I don't like catching 3-footers.
So I was just like, I could feel myself going a bit white.
Yeah.
And I knew it was bad, but I didn't know what I know now as an adult.
Like how?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I got it in the bag, tied it up, and I went down to the sinks, and I'm like washing my finger under the tap, and I'm squeezing. I'm thinking, oh, it's all right. It didn't penetrate the skin. And then I saw 2 little spots of blood. I thought, oh no, look, maybe it'll be all right. And I don't know why I thought it was all right. I didn't know anything about dry bites or anything then. I just, like everyone, I thought if a venomous snake bites you, you're envenomated.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I just went back to class, and the kids were with me. I said, "Watch it." Snakes in my school bag under the desk, and I reckon probably half an hour to an hour has passed, and I'm starting to feel a bit funny.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel a little bit nauseous, and my arm, the finger that got bitten, was starting to get a bit of paralysis.
Yeah.
And by that stage, of course, the story had filtered out, and the school nurse, we used to have school nurses in those days, is frantically going from class to class, trying to find out if it's true, and if so, who was it? And she came to our class, and I just thought, I better put my hand up. And where is it now? It's under here. So I had to then drop the bag into a plastic rubbish bin, which they clamped the lid on, and they sent it to the museum to get formally identified.
Yeah, okay.
I told them what it was, but, how did I know? I was a little grade 7 kid. And, they sent it off to the museum to get identified. And actually, they didn't call an ambulance. The deputy principal chucked me in his big Chevy Impala. They rang mum and dad, and he drove me to the hospital.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and by the time I got to the hospital, I was pretty sick, and they got me onto a bed, one of those beds on wheels things in the A&E, and I remember feeling very close to passing out.
Yeah, okay.
And next thing I remember is opening my eyes, and I'm laying there on the bed, and there's a priest standing over me praying. And I'm thinking, we weren't religious or anything, you know what I mean? That freaked me out. It didn't make me feel comfortable. But yeah, they'd done some blood tests, and they said that there was enough venom in my system to kill 2 or 3 adults.
Bloody hell.
So I was very lucky. It was back in the days of tourniquet. So they put a tourniquet right up here.
Yeah.
And of course, after a day, my arm looked like mincemeat.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Not good.
No.
I've got some slides of it still at home. This scrawny little 12-year-old arm. This just looks like the whole thing is bruised.
Mm.
Yeah. But no, they gave me anti-venom, and I was in hospital for probably 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And pulled out of it, and yeah.
Would have been a pretty fresh thing, the anti-venom thing.
Yeah,
back then.
1977.
Yeah, still been fresh-ish sort of thing.
Yeah.
So obviously worked.
And it was definitely before polyvalent anti-venom.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing.
So that's hence why they were trying to figure out what it was.
Yeah.
So they could.
Yeah. And it left me some after effects as well. They talk about brown snake venom being postsynaptic when it comes to the neuromuscular junction, and it affected my sense of smell.
Yeah.
So thankfully I didn't lose my sense of taste. But yeah, my sense of smell definitely impaired.
They normally attribute that to black snake, don't they?
Do they?
Well,
okay.
like sense of smell and taste. Is it like a common black snake envenomation sort of thing that happens? Well, it can be lifetime or whatever like that. So that's interesting that do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, from brown.
So yeah, it didn't put me off though.
As we'll go on to find out.
Yeah.
Do you recall how much anti-venom you had to get through that?
I think it was 2 ampules.
Yeah.
I don't know what size they were then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, not something, every 12-year-old wants to go through, but
Yeah. And of course, I was banned from going up there. But I still went up there.
So no more brown snakes came home.
No more brown snakes came home. No. Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell! Yeah. Yeah, it's always interesting to hear about snake bites from people who have actually gone through it, like yourself, and you sort of, how you sort of dealt with it, I suppose, if that's the sort of right terminology.
Yeah.
And also decide different times too.
Like, back.
People. a lot of people that might listen to this and be like, well, how does that even happen? It's just different times.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's no internet. There's barely any information about unless you sort of read some books or whatever. And even then, books, like, depends
well, back then, the books told you to apply a tourniquet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, which, potentially could have done more damage than the...
Well, I mean, the tourniquet didn't really go on until I got to hospital.
So potentially would have been.
You know, I mean, I was walking around
hours after.
So that's probably
it would have been at least an hour after, maybe 2.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Was the staying still thing known? Well, that wouldn't have been known then if they were doing tourniquet, because they obviously wouldn't have worked out the whole lymphatic system thing or anything like that. So the no movement thing wouldn't have been a thing. Hence, you probably would have gone past that point.
Yeah.
By the time they got the tourniquet on. So lucky you didn't have any effects from that, like the tourniquet.
Yeah.
Just like general. So I think, isn't it like you can get some sort of what do they call it? Like you get like damaged something through there.
So it uses up all the fibrinogen in your blood.
Yeah,
and then because the fibrinogen's been used up, that your blood in that part of your body can't clot.
Yeah.
It can be. That can be as bad as
because we covered it in the episode with Justin.
Yeah.
For even like the pressure bandage, putting that on too tight as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you still need your circulation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Like I said, different time too, and information. It just goes to show how far things have come with everything like these days, and how much we actually know about all that stuff now. So,
and obviously you wouldn't encourage anyone to go out and do that, but that's just what you did as a kid, though, wasn't it? I remember doing that as well.
I'm from the generation where, especially on a weekend, like you'd help do whatever needed to be done around the house, and then you're on your bike and
you'd be out for the day.
But as long as you were home by the time the street lights came on,
it
was all good.
It was all good. Yeah,
that's how we grew up.
Yeah, yeah. Again, different times. Yeah, how times have changed. Yeah. So moving on from that, when do you think you really started getting more so into the keeping side of things? Do you reckon?
Well, I didn't, I went through the normal sort of teenage things, interested in cars and girls and going out with your mates. And, I wasn't allowed to keep anything at home. Well, no, that's not true. I had a little, mum and dad got a little turtle for me, had that for a while. Until it outgrew its tank, and then they didn't want to get a bigger tank. So that went to someone that had a big outdoor pond, and so just rehomed it. But I didn't get my own snakes until, I was in the Air Force and I got posted to Darwin. And just prior to that, I bought my first 2 pythons from Joe Brettle. Joe Brettle up at Renmark. It was a water python and a Brisbane coastal.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was when I first started actually keeping. I guess, on my own terms. It was interesting because when I got up there, I went and saw, it was called the Conservation Commission then, Parks and Wildlife up there, and they were in Palmerston. And I went up and saw them. I said, hey, I've got these 2 snakes that I bought with me from South Australia. How do I arrange a permit? They said, what?
Permit? What's that?
I said, well, there is no keeping here. There is no permit system. I said, well, I've come up from Adelaide and they're legal and I've got them with me. So I need a permit.
Yeah.
And so they actually typed me one up on a typewriter.
Yeah, right.
They wrote up this thing as a permit saying I had those 2 species, 1 of each. I could keep it legally. And they typed it up and the guy signed it and said, there you go, there's your permit. So it was, up until then, there was no one, at least legally or in any kind of controlled way. I'm sure lots of people had snakes. They would have had to have.
Yeah.
But there was no sort of system, no permit system.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So let's go on to Darwin from that. When did you head up there, and how long were you up there for?
Posted up there at the end of 1988. And came back in 91.
Yeah.
So 4 years.
4 years. Yeah. So I lived up in Darwin for a year in 23.
Oh yeah, whereabouts?
I was in Palmerston as well. But I worked at a couple of the parks up there. But I'm sure it's a little different compared to when you were.
So did I.
When you were there.
I was a dog handler in the Air Force, and we used to, every third or fourth shift, we would be mobile.
Yeah.
So we'd have guys stationed at certain areas, and we'd have someone mobile that would go around to all those areas and then go and check on the guys. So it was like every third or fourth shift, I was actually getting paid to pick up snakes off the road at night time on night shift.
Good.
You know,
how good.
In fact, our dog section was over in Francis Bay, which is now it's now a little national park, Charles Darwin National Park.
Yes. Yep.
Well, that's where our dog section was, and there's
really?
some old ammunition dumps.
I've seen
storehouses there.
I've seen them. Yeah.
And we used to have to go around and check all the temperatures and stuff in them for the gunnies. And quite often there'd be, quolls in there. There'd be a big carbopython in there, or whatever.
So good.
They'd refuse to go in there, so they'd call me at home if I wasn't on shift, and I'd have to go down and get the thing out because they wouldn't go in there. Anyway, one night I'd found you'd be aware about the burn off.
Yeah.
So one night I found a possum that had been caught in the burn off, and all of its back was all scorched and blistered. And I'd heard that there was a wildlife park, Yarrawonga Wildlife Park, near Palmerston, that took in injured wildlife. So I got it into a sack, and I went up there and I knocked on the door and got talking to them, and they'd just taken over. They were Owen, the guy that ran it, was a truckie, and he'd given up driving, and they'd bought this place, and they were going to, make a go. I think it used to be a government one. The government pulled out of it.
Yeah,
it was fairly small. And anyway, I got talking to him and said, talking about snakes. And he goes, "Oh, do you know much about snakes, do you?" I said, "Oh, I know a bit." And he's like, "Oh, I've got all these snakes here. We've come in. The record books don't make any sense. Would you be able to help us? Let us know like what's what species and maybe what sex and all that sort of stuff." I said, yeah, I could do that. So over the next sort of month or so, I went up and helped him do all that. And I was there one day, and there was a lady there. She was either Canadian or American, and she was studying those dwarf freshwater crocodiles that are on the plateau down in Catherine. And she said, "Hey, I don't know if you're interested, but there's a bit of a conference happening next week at the uni. All the researchers that are up here doing work are all presenting. They're doing a story on their work, and if you want to come, just register." And so I said, "Oh, that sounds pretty good." So organised to get the day off, and went there, and it was incredible. Like, I walked in, and this guy's walking towards me and puts his hand out and goes, "Oh, how you going? What's your name?" "I'm Rick Shine." I'm thinking, "Oh my God, I've just bought his book." It's just like, and there was just all these guys in there, and women as well, researchers. And the first thing they did was they said, "Right, we want everyone to go around the room, stand up, introduce yourself, talk about what research you're doing, and so everyone can sort of get to know each other." There was maybe, 30 people in the room. And of course, I stood up and said, "Oh, my name's Darren. I'm not a researcher. I'm just interested in reptiles." I found out about this, and I couldn't resist coming here. Check it out. Yeah. Well, as it got close to the back of the room, there was another guy stood up and said, "Yeah, I'm Gavin, and I'm from Adelaide as well, like him, and I work at Westpac, but I'm interested in reptiles." And then sort of at the break, we just sort of converged because we were the only two non-scientific people there, you know what I mean? And so that's how we met. And then we started going out herping and just,
Gavin Bedford, I'm assuming.
History, Gavin Bedford, yeah. Sorry.
No, all good. I figured it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then
funny how things work out. I
ended up getting a job as a part-time guide at Territory Wildlife Park when that opened up.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'd just be, they used to have these train things that you drove around.
Yeah, still got them.
You'd come around the corner, there'd be a big frilly in the middle of the road, so you grab it, and of course all the international people were like, "Oh, they were taking photos and stuff." And so I used to do that once a month, go and work there for 4 days in a row.
Nice.
Yeah, that was good fun.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I'm assuming one thing a lot of people know about Darwin is the herping. Was your time pre-toad?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So they're all pre-toad.
Obviously, things have...
It was amazing.
Yeah. I've heard this from so many people, how different it was before the toads came through.
We used to go out for at least one night a week. It was like our week's entertainment.
Yeah.
And sometimes we drive all the way to Jabiru and back.
Yeah.
you know, and it's just sometimes you could only go 100 meters before you have to stop again.
Yeah.
You know, especially on that Adelaide River floodplain, there'd just be snakes everywhere. You'd be looking at one snake and another snake would crawl onto the road.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. Because obviously when I was up there only a few years ago, yes, things are bouncing back, but never going to be the same as it was before the toads came through. Yeah. Like a good night out again, Adelaide River somewhere, you'd see 30 snakes or so. You were probably seeing close to 100.
It got to the point where it's just another one of them. Keep going.
Another water python. Keep going.
10 of them, you know, really, really good.
And I assume you would have seen a lot of the stuff that is obviously not seen much now.
Big chunky 6.5 foot mulgars.
I saw one in my year that I was there. I saw one, and that was in Kakadu.
Yeah.
I saw only a couple of Waigalai and a couple of northern browns as well. The elapids.
Northern browns and the Waigalai are probably your most common elapids you'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even the northern browns, they're not that big.
No.
Real big ones.
No. But the mulgar I saw, again, he was a good 2.5 meter snake. He was a big thing. Again, we were driving into look for pellies, and we saw this thing crossing the road, and we thought it was an olive python because it was that fucking big.
Yep.
They would get out and oh shit, you're a mulgar.
Well, one night that I was out with Gavin, we were on the Cox Peninsula Road.
That's a good road,
The Mandurah, and we tried doing about 80. It's like stop. Big olive python right down. He goes past. I jump out, run back, grab it. It's about to go into the grass and stuff. So I grab by the tail. I'm holding onto it. And God, it's strong. And he comes up with his torch and he shines his torch down into the grass. He goes, "Let it go." I said, "What are you? I'm not letting it go. I want to catch it." He goes, "Let it go. It's not an olive python." That's how big the mulgars were. They were huge.
They were huge. Like a top end one is the biggest one I've seen out in the wild. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. As we were going out that same night, like literally, we were a couple of 100 meters behind a car, and they cleaned up another one. Yeah. On that same road, on our way out to look for pellies, and they cleaned up another one. And when I was there speaking to a few of the rangers, they said, the king browns, their numbers aren't too bad now. They're coming back. Yeah. They hang around the escarpments a lot. Yeah. Compared to just being out in sort of open areas.
It's thankful that there's a lot of them that have learned not to
eat toads. Yeah.
And because those, the panoptes, blue tongues.
I only saw one northern blue tongue as well. Yep. One northern blue tongue that was in Kakadu as well. Yeah. The ranger I was speaking to did say that the coastal taipans are very few and far between. Yeah. Up there.
I never ever saw a coastal taipan.
I didn't see a coastal.
Never. He said I didn't do a lot of herping during the day either.
Yeah. He said out of the three sort of in Kakadu, the coastal, the mulga, and the Owenpelly, the more Owenpellys are seen than the other two, which is interesting. Yeah, but I never saw one, unfortunately. After all the time I spent walking around those escarpments, never saw one. Going back to quolls as well,
I never saw one in the wild.
One quoll I saw that was in Kakadu as well. Out at Kale's Crossing, just on the rocks.
Yep.
Walking out there. Again, didn't see anything else. Again, I'm assuming they would have been pretty common before the the toads went through.
Yeah. I remember the first time I went to Berry Springs, everyone said, "Oh, you got to go to Berry Springs. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, you can swim in this clear water, there's all fish, you know." So I'm swimming in the water and I just swam underwater and I came up and there's this beautiful big merton sitting on a rock on the bank.
Nice, yeah.
Oh, I'm going to catch that. So I swam up to it like with the water level sort of here.
Maybe seal style.
Yeah, went tactical. and I reached up and grabbed it and it just went smack across my face with its tail. I've never dropped something so quick in my life.
They got a good whip on them.
Oh,
they got a good whip on them. Yeah. So do the panoptes.
It's my first encounter with the mertens.
Mertens they're in pretty good numbers.
Oh yeah.
Like again, Berry
even
Springs,
now,
Springs.
Yeah. And yet there's something that you think would have gorged themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. It seems to be a lot of the other smaller monitor species. I only saw one sandy. Up there.
I mean, we used to get the big Varanus panoptes on the base, areas where people would have barbecues or whatever. There was normally a 44-gallon drum, and all the rubbish would go in there. And these things would get up, and they'd manage to get a claw on the top of the 44-gallon drum. They'd upend themselves in these 44-gallon drums, going through them, trying to find stuff to
Whatever
eat. Big lizards.
Yeah.
You approach them, and they'd stand up and puff themselves up and
come on, have a go.
Yeah.
It seems to be. I've seen a few around the boat ramps where the croc tours are.
Yeah.
Because obviously, they hang around there and wait for the chicken.
Yeah.
That obviously the guides throw to them.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the most common place that you see them.
Yeah.
Again, out of the back places like Fog Dam, like in the dam walls, they burrow into them as well. You'll see a few out there. But again, just the numbers, I can't fathom how much more stuff there would have been before the Torians came through.
Spent a lot of time at Fog Dam. At the time, Rick Shine and Pete Harslow they were in the thick of doing the water python study, where they were studying the relationship between the water python population and the dusky rats.
Yeah.
And so they'd be there for like 2 weeks at a time. So when they were there, Gavin and I would go out and we'd help them catch.
Yeah.
More eyes and hands. And he had this old Lada, you know what a Lada Neva is? It's an old Russian-built four-wheel drive, four-cylinder thing. And it had a roof rack on it, and we would sit on the roof rack with the spotlights.
Yeah.
And then they'd drive along, and then we'd go, yeah, there's one, and we'd jump off, grab it, and they'd all get bagged up. And then the next day they'd go through, weigh them, sex them, and they'd clip a couple of scales to identify them. Some they would keep, and then they'd actually anaesthetize them and put a transponder inside them in the peritoneal cavity, stitch them up, keep them for a couple of days, make sure they're okay, then they'd let them go again. And that was really good fun. And, getting to know Rick Shine and Tom Madsen was there as well. He was a Swedish guy. He was there with his family. There was like I don't know if it's still there. It used to be like a little camp there. Yeah. It was all ATCO buildings.
Yeah.
And they all lived in those.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And there was a park ranger there, actually. Well, we met the park ranger. So I got involved with the Northern Territory Field Nats.
Yeah.
And they used to have these meetings out at the museum. And everyone there was a bird fancier, right? And I at the time I only had my two snakes, and I'd become pretty good friends with Graham Gow. And I said to him, look, would you mind if I borrowed some snakes from you? Because I want to do a talk at the museum at the Field Nats. He said, no worries. So he gave me a few of his snakes, and I booked this thing, and there was nobody at all sat in the two front rows. This is, these were people that are interested in nature, but if it didn't have fur or feathers,
they weren't in.
I'm not having anything to do with it, right? And so I'd done some slides and stuff, and I just started talking, and I was getting these animals out and handing animals to someone that's never touched it, and watching their face.
Yeah.
And then other people see it, and then they would move down.
Yeah.
Can I touch it?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you can. Just don't touch its head. Oh, wow. And all of a sudden, all these people just moved to the front. And at the end of it, I said to them, well, if would anyone be interested in one night a guided walk at Fog Dam?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, yeah. So there's lots of frog species and all that sort of stuff. So, you'll see the odd freshie and, and then you should get, at least some adders, slaty greys, water pythons, the odd boiger, usually you see all of them there.
Yeah.
And so we booked it in for a Saturday night about a month down the track. And that many people wanted to come. I had to get Gavin to come, and we split them in two groups because there was too many people for me to do on my own, Anyway, we're all out there, and all of a sudden I could see this quad bike coming out. I thought, what's going on here? And it was the local ranger. He's like, what's going on here? What are you all doing? And they said, oh, we're with him. And he comes, he goes, what are you doing? So these are Northern Territory Field Nats. I'm just leading a guided walk. This is my name, blah, blah, blah. And we actually got to know him really well and became really quite good friends with him. He thought we were all out there smuggling or, poaching or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was really good because in that short space of time, they went from, no, we don't want nothing to do with the snake to, because there is, not so much now, but it was a real kind of frontier town.
Yeah.
And there was still all pervasive was the attitude of the only good snakes are dead snakes.
Yeah.
You know, you drive to work in the morning and there'd just be snakes splattered all over the place before the birds had got to them and stuff, you know, and you just think, really? So anything that I could do to help people get over their fears and maybe appreciate them a bit more. You know, I'd say, like, you know, that 3.5 meter olive python you see flattened on the Arnhem Highway, that snake could be 50, 60 years old.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that snake's had to get through to get to that age. You know, and then they start thinking about it. You know, and
yeah, nice.
Because when you see a shovel warrior with a, you know, nearly 2 meter brown or something like that.
Battle scar.
Yeah, battle scar. Yeah. That poor bastard started out the length of a pencil.
Yeah.
25 years to get to that, and then you just whack him for no.
Because you're uneducated.
Because you're scared, and
yeah. And again, changing that mindset, which is what very much about.
And that was as well. Well, obviously, what you were doing before social media or any of that sort of stuff was just hands-on, getting people curious and going to talk to people. Oh, do you want to come out and have a look? And,
I figured
that would have changed a lot of minds.
Yeah, well, I figured they're already interested in nature, or they wouldn't be coming to the museum for meetings on a Thursday night or whatever it was. So let's capitalize on it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Why not? So you spent your about 4 years in Darwin.
Yeah.
Straight back to Adelaide after that, was it?
Yeah, so with the Territory Wildlife Park, I really wanted to work there full time, and they were in the process of building their nocturnal house.
Yeah.
And Lee Moyes, the curator, he said, "Look, you're exactly the sort of person we want to hire, and as soon as we know we've got the funding for that, I'll let you know, and we'll get you on board full time." So that was my plan. That's what I wanted to do, and then I got posted back to Adelaide. So the problem with that, once I was posted back to Adelaide. He said, "Look, I'll get in touch with you, give me your contact details." But then that would have meant I would have had to have paid for the whole relocation of the family back to Darwin.
Yeah.
And one day the call came, and I just said, "Oh, look, it's just I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford to pack everything up and pay for a removal to go back up there." And I mean, those jobs, they're not high-paying jobs either.
No.
As much as it would have been lovely to do, financially, I'm glad I didn't go that way.
You do it because you enjoy it.
Yeah, love jobs.
I was a zookeeper for 10 years before doing all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And you do it for the passion of it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But they sort of, they probably almost take advantage of that a little bit too, I guess, like the zoo industry. And
there's always
they know that there's always people that want to do it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And that's why they don't have to put the price tag.
And people are happy to come in and do it for free for a period to, get the experience and to show that they've got initiative.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because everyone wants to work with, cute, fluffy animals.
The thing is, it's not like it obviously costs a lot of money to run stuff, but it's not like a lot of those big places don't earn substantial money from people coming through either. So it makes you wonder why they couldn't pay people.
A lot of them were government as well.
That too, subsidised and everything too.
Yeah.
One really, really cool interaction I saw there one day was I was driving the train thing, and we'd stopped at one of the stops, and people would get off, and then they'd sort of walk down one of the paths to an exhibit, and then I'd sort of wait and they'd come back. And when they came back, a couple of people said, "Oh, there's a snake just over there." I said, "Oh, really?" And they said, "Yeah." So we used to get a lot of common tree snakes. Very common. Like sometimes you'd be looking at an exhibit and one would crawl across the handrail in front of you, But I said, "Oh, look, show me where it is." So they pointed it out, and it was a mulga in the process of swallowing a death adder.
Nuts.
And so I had no camera. What's your chances of ever seeing that in the wild?
Yeah.
Now, one stage I didn't get to meet them, but Attenborough's crew came there to do filming.
Oh, yeah.
And they actually set that very thing up artificially.
Oh.
But this was real. This was actually happening, and I just kept everyone away from it. I said, "Don't disturb it because it'll spit it out."
Yeah.
And we watched it just finish off this death adder and got back on the train and
very
carried
cool.
on,
That's very cool.
Yeah. Something to see something like that in the wild.
You wouldn't see that these days.
No.
Not particularly Berry Springs, of all places.
And during that time, Gavin had given up his job at the bank. He decided that wasn't where his passion was. He went up there with a traineeship at Westpac. He did his economics degree here in Flinders, and went up there with the views of becoming a bank manager, something respectable. and decided that he wanted to do sciences. And he got a job with Dr. Keith Christian as his research assistant.
Yeah, okay.
And then that's when he started his own studies in biology and stuff. And Keith had a project going with Merton's water monitors out at Lake Bennett.
Yep.
And he had, I think, 4 or 5 that had collars on them with radio telemetry. And sometimes we'd go up there over night time and find them and catch them and weigh them. And
nice.
I don't know if you ever went to Lake Bennett when you were there. There's lots of.
I went a couple of times.
There's lots of big trees in Lake Bennett. It's a big freshwater lake. It's open to recreational activities and skiing and stuff. And we'd go there at night in this little boat with an electric outboard, so it was nice and quiet. And Gavin would be on the telemetry, and I'd be driving it. And I remember one time there was one that where you have the dead tree come up, the first horizontal bough, they'll just lay on it with their legs wrapped around, and they're sound asleep.
Yeah.
And, you get the light. Yeah, he's got the collar on to cut the motor. And one time we were going along and we'd cut the motor, but the boat just tapped the tree. And this thing woke up and it just leapt off the branch, which they normally just leap off the branch into the water and they're gone.
Yeah.
Except it landed right at the boat. And his legs and claws going everywhere, it was good. We got to do some fun stuff like that. But, it was really good. Darwin was great.
I love it up there. I love it up there. So you would have stayed up there if you didn't get posted back?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah?
Hell yeah.
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 Yeah. I've been there a few times since. I've gone up there with jobs that I've done, and always love going there.
Yeah. Well, since we've come back, we make a point of going up for a few weeks every year during the dry. Yeah. Again, just to catch up with everyone, go for a bit of a herb, and
Used to come down here for holidays, see the family at Christmas time. It might be 28 degrees and people would be in the pool, and I'd be sitting there with a long sleeve jacket. I'm not getting to the pool, it's too cold. It's amazing how you acclimatise.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. The build up in particular is not very forgiving.
No,
up in Darwin. So you had your time up there, you came back to Adelaide.
Yep.
Where'd your sort of reptile journey go from there, coming back to Adelaide?
I had more animals. So as part of doing those talks at the uni, I had a demonstrator's license up there. So, and I was able to take animals from the wild, provided it wasn't too many, and that there was a reason I could take animals from the wild. And the condition was when I left Darwin, I had to surrender those animals back to the Conservation Commission. But anything I bred, I could keep.
You could keep. Yeah.
So I had a few more animals when I came back down here to Adelaide. And through knowing Greg Fife, who was at the camel farm at the time, he bred some bredli, and I think he was the first one to captive breed them. So I had a couple of them from him. And this was back in the days where people you knew would just say, hey, I've got a clutch of these. Do you want some?
Yeah.
And I think I've arranged for a couple he wanted top end carpets. So I managed to arrange a couple of baby top end carpets, and he was wrapped, and, and we got off Rick Shine. Rick Shine was winding up his diamond python study. And he said, I've got all these animals that I've had in the lab for nearly 10 years now, and they can't go back in the wild. And Gavin and I said, well, we'd love a pair. He's like, really? They're just diamonds.
They're just diamonds. Yeah.
It was probably more Gavin than me. He was mad on diamonds because I didn't know how diamonds would go in Darwin. But he was true to his word. He got it. He moved all the red tape aside. He even said to us, and if it wasn't for the Old Boy Network, I never would have been able to do this. He bought us up a pair of diamond pythons, and so what we did was we had a pair of bredli from Greg as well. So we just split them up. Yeah. So he kept one of each, I kept one of each, and so when it's time to breed, we'll just breed them together. And
nice.
But when it got posted, he sort of said, "Oh, look, I'd prefer the diamond." So I gave him the diamond. He gave me his female bredli.
Yeah.
So So then when I came back down here, that's when I started getting into the venomous side of things.
The venomous side of things. Yeah.
Yeah. So I knew Peter Merchant pretty well.
Yeah.
He was running Venom Supplies then. And Tim, who was his curator, was a close friend of mine. So I managed to get some animals through him, had some copperheads, tiger snakes, I had a couple of red bellies. I had desert death adders from Reptile.
Nice. Yeah.
I had northern adders, but they were prey longest then. Well, there's something else now, aren't they? Northern adders.
I think they are something else now.
Changed to something else. So yeah, that was really good. And I started doing what you guys do. Got a block in Lewiston, 2.5 acre block in Lewiston, and just there was lots of snakes around and nobody doing snake catching. Didn't have a special permit. I had a venomous permit, obviously, to keep. But there was people killing snakes left, right, and center. And so I used to do like 2 Wells, Virginia, Gawler River, sometimes Gawler and Craigmore, Manapara sort of area. Just put a little ad in the local papers, and local police had you'd be surprised how many people call the police when they see a snake.
Yeah.
And often the police would ring, and so I did a lot of that for about 3 or 4 years while I was living there.
What year was this in? Sorry, that you started?
That would have been 91 through to about 95.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, about 4 years.
Yep.
Yeah. One time I went to a house in 2 Wells, and it was around that sort of August, September time. And this lady swore black and blue she saw a big brown snake go across her driveway and into her garden. And it's like you can be there 10 minutes, you can be there 2 hours, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I just about searched the whole garden, and then I found it, and it was a big female. And caught that, got it in the bag. That was all good. And got back in the car and sitting in the driveway, car idling. She's standing there talking to me. I'm about to say, all right, see you later. And I hear her. She goes, oh, my God. I'm like, what? She goes, look over there. And across her driveway, there was 2 males, nose to tail, following each other.
Yeah, right.
Across her driveway. So I caught 3 snakes. And one still only charged her $25.
Yeah.
That's what I used to charge them, $25.
$25, yeah.
It was just beer money to me, because I was still in the Air Force. I was still working. And even then, people would call, and I got my first mobile phone, the big old analog ones, where you pull the antenna out the top, and it would actually cost you to receive a call as well.
Yeah, okay.
In those days, not just to make it. When someone rang you, it cost you money too. And these people say, I'd say, oh, well, it's $25. I'll see if it goes away, or don't worry about it, or I'll just kill it, or all sorts of things. And again, because it was local, most of the time I'd go there and do it anyway. But I had some funny ones. So there was a lady in one of those old heritage type homes with the bullnose veranda, and she said, I went to go into my sewing room, and there's a snake in there. So okay, shut the door if you can, jam a towel under the door, and that'll at least keep it contained till I get there. So I get there, and she's followed my instructions. So I open up. This snake has gone up onto a sewing table, and it's tried to climb up, and it's somehow got its head through her neck curtains.
Yeah.
And then trying to get out, it's just spun and strangled itself.
Oh, hell.
And it was just hanging there in her curtains, dead.
Oh.
I've had somewhere I've had to pull out a whole inbuilt combustion heater, dismantle the whole thing and pull it out to get a snake. There was a red belly. It was a house right on the side of the Gawler River, and they had one of those concrete fish ponds with a fountain in it, and this red belly had gone underneath that. And no matter what I did, I'd get my hook under there, I'd touch it, I'd go to the other side. I couldn't get my hook around it to get it out. We ended up getting all the fish out, putting them into a container, draining the thing, and then him helping me lift it off to catch the snake.
Catch it,
Yeah, we go to someone's house, they've got those, the concrete plinth that the rainwater tank sits on, and they chuck all their firewood in there.
Yeah.
Oh, I went in there, mate. Okay. And there's like 1.5 tons of firewood in there. Pull it all out, you get to the back, and there's a blue tongue sitting there looking at you. I don't know if you get that much, but I used to get that.
Yeah. We get a fair few blueies still.
Yeah.
Fair few.
I don't know that many this season, but
I did.
They just see the tail disappear and they think of
I think it's a snake.
Oh, that's always, especially where I am, is when they say they've seen just the tail, I'm like, did you see a pattern on it? Because they normally say they see a distinctive pattern on it, like more often than not, it's probably a blue tongue.
Yeah.
just to try and put their mind at ease if they don't know where it is or something like that, and just wait and see what happens. But then there's not a foolproof method, but generally speaking, especially up where I am, if they see stripes on it where I am, it's not going to be a tiger. So
no,
even though you do get browns that can be stripy, but I haven't had one up there that's been stripy.
So catching out on the plains, I'm assuming most of what you caught was browns.
Yeah, and the odd red belly.
The odd red belly along the river.
Yeah.
Did you catch anything else?
A lot of aviary catches. Get there and the snake would be cruising up and down one of the rails in the aviary, or in the process of swallowing their last prize California quail.
Any other unusual catches or
no?
Just also
in that area.
Stock standard.
Yeah.
Okay.
No exotics.
No exotics.
As much as you don't want to, really have the hassle of coming across one. It would be cool to do something like random. Doesn't seem to happen too much down here in SA.
No, I think illegal exotics seem to be an East Coast thing.
Yeah.
Easier to get them in, I guess, or something like that. Yeah. Like there's pretty much I think one of the more recent books they've put corn snakes as a although they got the distribution
population
as a population in.
Wow.
So they must be southeast Queensland.
I think it's southern Queensland and northern New South Wales as one as well.
Yeah, they've literally got a
population.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't doubt they are being kept down here, but obviously not as much as the eastern states. Well, it was probably a couple of months ago now. There was a in the Lost Pets group, someone posted a tortoise that was walking in the road in Golden Grove.
Wow.
Yeah, just this tortoise just wandering the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there stuff like that's obviously here.
Yeah.
But again, not as much as it would be in the eastern states.
Yeah. Well, I know that's how Venomous supplies got a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
In the day was from seizures.
Confiscations.
From the East Coast. I don't think any of them are actually from from SA or anything like that.
Yeah, I had Central Mulgars. They came from Greg Five as well as babies and grew them up. Collar snakes that I got from Brian Barnett.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're really pretty ones too.
Well, that would be rare back in the day.
Yeah. But again, all these things were just, they were all giveaways. What I mean? We just used to swap snakes in those days.
Yeah.
There was none of the big dollar price tags that there is now.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, ridiculous. So you look at the bloody the morph shit that's out there. Well, that's I don't know if that's I've just completely lost any interest in that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm just really into locality stuff.
Yeah.
But even then, they got a price tag on them too.
Because they're pure locality.
Yeah, I don't think they should be for nothing.
Oh no, it's just some of it you feel like they're taking the piss a bit.
Yeah.
Like there's a respectable amount for most things, but then for someone like me, I'm happy to pay good money for a locality animal compared to just a shitty morph that
big your own darlings.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going back to snake catching quickly, obviously again changed quite a lot compared to when you were doing it compared to what we are doing.
I mean, I did very similar to what you guys do. I had areas where I thought were good habitat that were reasonably close.
Yeah.
People used to joke, you just let them go next door and then you get paid to come out again. It's like, no, mate.
We've got standards.
But sometimes Peter was looking for animals as well. If they were a big enough size and he could get a decent yield out of it, then I'd take them to him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And again, completely different to how it is. Obviously, you didn't have a specific permit to do it. You had your keeping permit for that side of things.
Yeah, just my keeping permit.
You just go out and
it was just a community service, I guess.
Yeah. Are there any calls that sort of stand out to you?
Couple. There was one that was in Gawler, it's all houses now where it was Evanston Gardens, I think.
Yeah.
And I got the call from the police.
Yeah, okay.
And it's on the sidewalk, right? And when I got there, one of the police is standing there with his sidearm drawn.
Oh, Jesus.
He's got his sidearm pointed at it. He goes, "Are you the snake catcher bloke?" "Yep." that's me. He goes, right, well, it's just here. He puts it away, you know.
Like the snake was sitting there going like this. Like the snake's done something.
It was a cool day, and it had come out of the grass. And it was just coiled up in the sun.
Yeah, just sitting
and they
there.
were just standing there about 5-6 feet from it, and he had the weapon drawn, ready to go. What else? You know, the one where the two males appeared just after I caught the female.
That would have been a good one.
Yeah. Can't really think of any other. They always get into like really crazy places,
obscure places. Yeah.
Like the one you were talking about the other day under the towel. You're at the house all day, and it was in the house underneath the towel.
I literally couldn't believe that. Yeah. When the bloke rang, I thought he was taking the piss. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Literally 10 meters away from it all day.
Yeah.
And
you'd be surprised how much snake can curl up in a shoe as well.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. I've caught a few, curled up in shoes, like in a shoe rack and that sort of thing. Just a perfect spot for them. Same with your bait boxes. They have like the wineries and all these other places. Just like
the rodent baits.
Rodent baits. I tell them like literally like you look in snake enclosure, it's literally what they look like. The snake bites. No wonder they got there's been some places you go to and you're like, this snake can't be anywhere else. Yeah. And like, oh, there's bait box. Sure enough, you go up there and tap it and you hear this little like freak out move.
He's in there.
There he is. He's in there.
Yeah. I had one, it was a call out. There used to be I don't know if it's still there, out of Stockport, there's a school camp.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the guys that cooked out there, he used to cook in the mess on the RAF base. And I don't know how he got my number, but he called me and said, we've got this big brown snake in our kitchen. Okay, so I drove out there, and it was probably one of the biggest local eastern browns that I've ever seen. It had one dark scale just down from its neck a little bit. And I looked and I thought, geez, I reckon that might be grabbed.
Yeah.
Anyway, caught it, bagged it up. I took it home, and I actually hung on to it for a while because it was grabbed. So I hung on to it, laid its eggs, and I put its eggs in a clip cap container under the TV cabinet because it was summer. So it was, you know, and they all hatched, 100% hatch rate, and I took all the babies back out that way.
Yeah, nice.
Let all the babies go, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was I used to keep my elapids they were in glass tanks, and they had wooden lids. They had those cam locks.
Oh, yes.
To lock them on.
Yeah.
And I used to use like a wooden pencil case for a hide box.
Yep.
Because then I could just open the lid, use a hook to shut that.
Yeah.
Like shut the snake in it to clean it out safe, and then put it back in and just use the hook to
same thing.
Open it again. And she was interesting because whenever you walked into the room, she would just detect it and she'd come out.
She'd just know.
Oh, is there food? Is there, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Nothing? Okay, back in again. You know, like really, she was an interesting snake to observe. And never ever once, I even used her for a few school talks and stuff like that. Never ever tried to have a go.
Yeah,
well, that's interesting really nice for a wild caught snake. Yeah. Particularly
she was, even after she'd laid eggs, she was, you know, decent size snake. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Well, I suppose that'll transition nicely into, you know, you're keeping elapid days as well. Kept a fair bit by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I did have a fair bit, but then sort of I remarried, and then we had another kid come along. It was time for all the venomous stuff to go, you know. And yeah, it was quite easy to rehome. Like most of them were just, you know, giveaway sort of thing.
Yeah,
people I knew, so that was pretty good. And then just kept it to the pythons. Had, you know, quite a few different jungle pythons back in the day, from some of the old time keepers, and that was predominantly what I had. I had a couple of blackheads. I had a pair of womas. You know, a pair of Tanami womas back then. People wouldn't realise it, but it was $5,000 for a pair of Tanami womas. You know.
Yeah, right.
And I thought I'd won the lottery once I got there. It was just, had a couple of SA womas as well. But then the time came, I really wanted to get green pythons, and we just sold one house and we're in the process of building another one, and I had some spare money there, and went halves with my father-in-law actually on a pair.
Yeah.
They were $5,000 each. That was 2002.
Yeah, right.
2002. And I sold everything off to scrape all the money together to get them.
Yep.
Yeah. And raised them up, and got about 18 months into it, and someone broke into the house and stole the mail. And never got him back. But thankfully, Tim Mansforth, he had a decent collection of them, and he was kind enough to sell me a 9-month-old male to replace him with. And they bred successfully. Had them, they laid eggs October 2005. Yeah. And she laid, I think it was 20 eggs she laid altogether, 19 hatched.
Nice.
And I couldn't believe it. It was like, looking at all these yellow babies, like crazy, raised them up because the father-in-law had gone halves, decided at they're about 8 months old, decided to sell a few and give him some money back.
Yeah.
And then they'd actually gone up. They were $7,500 each. And I sold 5 of them on the old Herb Trader. You remember Herb Trader?
Yeah. I don't know.
You're probably a bit young for Herb Trader.
I might have seen her in the early days.
Yeah, it was Herb Trader and Herb Shop. At that stage, they were both run by Brian, and then he sold off the Herb Trader part of it to a couple from Canada, actually, and they ran it for a few years. Anyway, sold 7 of them. They all went over east, and then about 3 weeks after that, we had an armed home invasion, and the rest were all stolen at gunpoint. So that, you can imagine the kind of effect that has,
absolutely.
Never got to the bottom of it. We were in Hewitt. It was a new area. It wasn't in any of the street directories. It was only friends of mine that knew where I lived that knew I had them.
Yeah.
Obviously, the people I'd sold them to knew I had them because of the stupid system where you have to give all your details to someone because you're selling them a snake.
Yeah, exactly.
Police never got anywhere with that, and that turned me right off all forms of reptile keeping.
Yeah, as it would.
Yeah. For probably 9 years, I never kept a single thing. I just got right out of it. Actually, just after that happened, because I knew John Weigel through Tim, because Tim had left Venom Supplies to go and work at Gosford.
Yeah.
And John Weigel rang me up and he said, "Look, Darren, it's terrible what's happened, and we're all keeping our eyes open here, and anything we hear, because these animals had to go somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some people were saying, they've probably been smuggled overseas. That didn't make any sense because they were worth less overseas
than they were here.
I thought, somebody, the guy who came and did it was a career criminal. He didn't want anything to do with the snakes. He didn't want to touch them. He was just there hired to do the job.
Yeah, and pass them on to somebody.
On to somebody. Yeah. And I think they would have been either laundered into someone's collection.
Yeah.
They've said, we bred these, or he had buyers waiting.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
In any case, there's someone out there knows where they went.
What happened. Yeah.
I guess a roundabout way, the bloodline's probably still continuing now.
Probably.
From all of them
a few of them have developed a lot of melanism, actually.
Yeah.
And that was the influence, I think, from the male that came from Tim Mansforth.
Yeah,
right.
But, John rang me up and he said, "Look, we don't want to lose you to the hobby. And, when you're ready and you think you want to keep again, let me know. There's a couple of rough scales here with your name on it. I'll send you a pair of rough scales."
Yeah. Obviously, he was the one getting the rough scales from the wild and breeding them.
Yeah.
So there's that connection.
And very few had come into private hands at that stage. I mean, he was selling them for $12,500 a pair. I said, "Look, John, that's really generous of you, but at the moment, anyway, I ended up, getting the pair from him. He sent me over a pair. They were about 6-9 months old, and it was really good keeping them and raising them. But I still had if I'm going to keep, I wanted green pythons.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, Jared from New South Wales, he bought some of my original babies. He said, "Look, I've got a really nice pair of young Biacs here. I'd really like rough scales. Do you want to swap?" I said, "Yep, we'll swap." So we did a straight swap, and I got a pair of, at the time, they were about 6-7 month old Biac pair. And they were really good. Raised them up, got the female, she gave me a couple of slug clutches. And I kind of lost a bit of interest in it at that point.
Yeah.
So I sold those animals off, and my partner was right into lizards. So I said, "Oh, let's get some." We got about 4 or 5 different species of dwarf monitors.
Yeah.
We had stores and Ackies and Barigi and Tristis and stuff like that. But they're quite full on. The insects, the clean, because I had everything naturalistic, and I'm a bit of a clean freak, and she wasn't doing any of the cleaning, so it was all me. She was enjoying watching them run around in the tank, but I was doing the rest sort of thing, and so that wore a bit thin, and so yeah, they all went and went back to snakes, and at the time, the antaresia were really starting to take off.
Yeah,
and I knew where I wanted to get to, like where I am now, with a nice little collection of green pythons. And I thought, how am I going to get there without just coughing up heaps of money? And I had some shares in the company that I've been working for. And I had a look, and they weren't doing a lot. So I cashed them in, and I spent that $5,000 or so on some antaresia morphs.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
And raised them up, and then just started breeding them,
Yep.
And I started getting some really nice marbles with the white patches, white stripes.
Yeah. And then this would have been back in the early days of the morphs as well, was it? Earlier days.
There was people well ahead of it. People like Marty from Reptile. Yeah. He was well ahead of me. There was other people well ahead of me in it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. It would have been about 2012, 2013, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was really good because they were easy to breed, and a bit of a pain to get going, but that got me the money that I wanted to be able to get
the other
animals
stuff
that I wanted.
Yeah.
And and I got very, only a few years into it, I got disillusioned with the morph race. And, and we've talked about this. It's a race, and people were starting to give them all these weird names, and then they're crossing species, and I drew the line of that.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared to do that, and so they all got sold, and then I was able to get some more greens, and I was able to get Pellies and stuff like that.
Yeah, nice.
Without having to,
break the bank.
Break the bank.
Break the bank. Yeah.
So what does your collection look like these days? Obviously, a smaller collection.
Yeah, quite small now. Yeah. So as I was saying earlier to Dan, I used to have a couple of bedrooms full, and then the big Pelly cages in the back room. But it's all just one bedroom now. I've got one adult pair of white lips.
Yep.
And I've got a nice group of 6 Iron Range green pythons.
Nice.
2 of those are from my son Daniel.
Yep.
They're probably the 2 prettiest ones I've got, actually. I've got one from Matt Somerville and a few from Steve Crawford.
Yep.
So I've got a good mixture of lines now, mixture of bloodlines.
Yeah, good mix.
And this season, the 2 oldest females will be their first season.
Year?
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Looking forward to that.
Well, yeah, fingers crossed for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your lad's made quite a name for himself.
It's incredible, isn't it? It's incredible. Like I'm so proud of him, And he goes on podcasts and he says, "I've got to give kudos to Dad," and I haven't had anything. Like that's him. That's his. Yeah. He's just done so well. He's listened to the right people. He's bought the right animals. He's done everything the right way, and I hope he just goes on and on.
100%.
Yeah, I'm really pretty proud of how he's done.
Yeah, it's good.
Be another good one to get on here as well.
Yeah,
talk about green pythons.
Yeah.
That'd be cool, actually.
Yeah, he won't go near a venomous snake, but he'll talk about green pythons.
Might have to do it at your place and sit out the back or something.
sit on the deck.
Not with them right there.
But it's funny. Like he's become that well known on some of the American podcasts. The other day, I was watching one of the NPR episodes, and they were talking about in situ photos and animals sitting in water to hunt. And a few years back, we were up in the Flinders and managed to find one sitting in the water. It was sitting in the stream, and the water was really cold. It was sitting there with its head out. And I took a crappy photo on my phone, which I sent over to them. And I think Justin put it in the second Carpet Python book. And Eric and I were talking about it, and he's going, I remember Darren Boswell. He sent me a photo of one in the Flinders Ranges, and I'm sitting there thinking, no, that was me. But hey, I'm happy. He's got a lot more years left in the hobby than me.
It's awesome.
No, definitely think we might line him up as well for a chat. Be another good one. Anything else you want to touch on, or have we just about covered everything?
Really, I think we've pretty well covered it.
It's a pretty good sprawl there of
a few different topics, and the camera only cut out 5 times, so thank you very much for coming on, Darren. It's been an absolute pleasure. Insight into how things were done back in the day, which is a lot different to how it is now, but always interesting to hear about it for sure. Thank you very much for coming on.
No worries.
We might have to line you up in 6 months or so to have another chat, see if anything's changed.
Any success.
All right, guys, we'll leave it there. Thanks for listening. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. This episode will go out this Wednesday as normal. This Wednesday. Spotify, YouTube, it'll be on. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.